good night, sweetheart. Parting can be so much fun. Let you and I have another one before we can say good night. Good night, ladies. Good night, fellows. Good night, everyone. We've all had a lot of fun.
With another episode of Have Another One. Your hosts, Sean Meehan, co-host.
Chase, what's up?
Chase started off today by saying, when we were testing the mic, I was like, check, check, check. Dave was like, yeah, I can talk. Chase said, what up? Because he grew up on the mean streets of Millburn, which he's repping the sweatshirt.
It's turning street lately.
Now,
It's a totally different town.
we have a guest here, a familiar face, Dave Otey, a good friend of ours, but a fitness expert. So today, last time you were on, we were talking about...
Nonsense.
Yeah, and that was right after we cut down the Christmas tree?
Christmas.
Yeah, and I was snickle
That
frisk.
tree drank a lot of water.
Yeah.
And then I knocked it over a few weeks later, and we don't have to talk about it anymore.
No big deal.
But fitness expert today's show, we are talking fitness. We're answering questions that you guys submitted, but also just some general topics that at least myself, I know Chase has been wondering. The one question that you asked actually before we started airing,
Probably
number
the most
one.
important.
Yeah.
How much do you bench, bro?
That's I think the
High
number
school max or no?
Yeah.
No, but
I'm talking with a spotter. He may be helping a little bit, but he claims he didn't touch it at all. His hands were there to guide it.
Yeah, now probably like 385 now.
Let's go.
and the real question is, how much do you good morning?
I don't.
Like Max, good mornings.
There's the answer.
Dude, I was doing lower back, the
One rep, Max, good
yeah,
mornings.
but the easy curl bar. Like
But
this.
trading for the max.
Yeah,
2 minute,
yeah,
2 to
yeah,
4
yeah.
minute rest per set.
I have a spotter, but they're in the front, holding my thighs forward like this, so I don't tip. No, wait, what's the thing called where you go like this? That one, that back extension. Is that what it's called? The back
That's what it
extension?
was called, yeah.
Dude, that actually hurts my knees a little bit and really stretches out my hamstrings. But I did that, and then I did the regular, what the fuck is it called? Just like a...
This is great for all the listeners who aren't watching the YouTube.
Yeah, if you're just listening, I recommend going to the video. I'm dressed like a dad to be now. This is what I'm wearing 24 hours. I sleep in this hat. I sleep in this shirt. That's it.
He's dressed like a domesticated leprechaun.
Yeah. Like I made it.
A leprechaun who's made it.
Yeah. Like all my old leprechaun
made it
friends
outside
are
of the
like,
Bronx
yo,
Stone.
my man, he made it. He made it out. He made it out to the mean streets of Bolton.
You go into your change purse and pull out gold coins to pay for your beers.
Yeah.
Lucky Charm
Like I flip
marshmallows.
them like a, and it's like shimmering. No, I was doing like deadlifts, but my lower back, dude, is cooked city just from those two exercises. But I didn't do my good morning, so
Yeah, which probably isn't a good thing, so that's why we'll answer things pretty basic today.
yeah. So just brief overview. You've been in the fitness game for over 10? No.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I've been training for 13 years. CSCS, which is a Certified Strength Conditioning Specialist. That's the certification you would need to be eligible for any NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball job. Got my degree from Rutgers, exercise science. Then a whole bunch of other slew of certifications, which kind of like don't necessarily matter, but I'm on the advisory board for Men's Health magazine, so I write for Men's Health, I write for T Nation, Muscle and Fitness, Shape, Weight Watchers, all that kind of stuff. And then just, train people.
But so those certifications. So if you want to train in the NFL or in any of the sports, you have to go through. Like, who runs that certification?
So you have to have a CSCS, or there's like one or two other certifications you can get, and then it's essentially like an apprenticeship. So you would go in as an assistant strength coach or as an intern within that facility, and then you'd work yourself up the ranks.
Like towards it, like you need hours.
Yeah, like
credits?
you have a certain amount of hours, and then the people that you're working with are going to check off on, hey, this person knows what he's doing, he takes the job seriously. There's just not a lot of reliability from a long-term standpoint when it comes to the job, so it just didn't make sense for me.
As a trainer in the NFL? Like,
No, it just didn't make sense for me personally. Like there's you got to think the amount of pro teams there are. Like in the NFL, there's only 32 head strength coach jobs available. And to get to that point, like, you'd have to be a head college coach or a head whatever, and then that means, like, 1 year you could be living in Madison, Wisconsin. The next year you could be in Montana. 2 years later you could be taking a job at Florida Atlantic. And then for me, that just didn't make sense from a family perspective.
Would it also be like you could work as an assistant for a team and just be there for 10 plus years?
Yeah, most likely not. I think if you're an assistant for a certain amount of time, they will either... Like they'll flush you out or you'll flush yourself out because they're working 6 days a week, they're working 80 hours a week, and they're making probably $70,000 a year.
So you're doing it just for like a resume builder type deal?
Yeah, like you either have to be like very good and well connected and know your stuff, or you have to be a complete lunatic to maintain that. And listen, in strength conditioning, that's probably pretty common.
Yeah, but the other certifications, because isn't there like a ton of like become a certified personal trainer, like things that are out there that like you can do that like some are like actually real and some are like
there's
BS.
There's a lot of stuff that's out there. So what I would say is, if you are getting advice from somebody, make sure they have some type of certification that has a little bit of clout with it or something with it.
But how do they know that? Because if someone was like,
100%, right?
CGMS, Certified Good Morning.
Yeah, like if someone's like, I'm a personal, like if they post on the West Orange,
for sure.
like, I'm a personal trainer, right? ABS certified, TFT certified, spent 3 years like doing X. It's like the average person,
for sure,
me included, would
and
be like,
all
I don't
that
fucking
could
know
mean
anything.
all that could mean nothing.
But that's
right. So that's why
kind of like you could get a bartending license to get a certification just to be able to do a job like that. It doesn't necessarily.
Yeah. So you got to think there's a bunch of national certifications that can be out there, but one of the biggest misconceptions for somebody when they're trying to find someone that could be a good specialist to reach out to is years on the job, right? So like my 13 years of doing what I'm doing is irrelevant because if I've been doing the wrong thing for 13 years or we're doing risky practices for 13 years, none of that matters, right? So I can list off that I'm a pain-free performance specialist. I am FMS certified, which is functional movement screening. See how someone's body naturally reacts through space, finding the best movement patterns for them. I'm precision nutrition certified as a nutritional coach, but none of that matters if you don't have someone that A, you're willing to listen to, B, is coming from a place where they're looking at your best intention first, because that's what matters. You could say you want to lose X amount of weight and you want to gain this much muscle, but one, is that person actually going to give a shit about your goals? And then two, what after that? Like you could reach your goal, but then did the massive transformation of your life happen that you thought was going to happen? Generally not. So how do we make it sustainable?
So, and we're going to get into this in a little bit, but
sure.
Jiu-jitsu, there's like a saying, the more you know, the less you use. Mm-hmm. Right? So like the longer you've been around, like you just kind of resort back to like a few basic fundamental moves
100%.
that you hit like 100%. Is all of the certification that a lot of these trainers use with like you do these like this movement through space, you learn strength training, you get this hex bar certification, you get this dive. Does it translate the same way where it's like people that have been doing the job for 40 years resort back to like these few like very common fundamental practices?
Yeah. So there's fundamental patterns that we want to work through, but I think that if you have someone who's doing this crazy, chaotic Instagram style workout, I'm gonna venture they don't really have a good grasp on what they're doing. Like they could, and I could be totally wrong on that, right? But for the most part, the people are doing the bread and butter basics. They're doing basic strength training routines. I would say the application and the modality of the equipment, so whether it's a hex bar or a landmine or a barbell or whatever, like that's kind of irrelevant. I think the coach is going to have their specific reasoning for why they use different pieces because they are all unique in their own ways. But you're going to see they're going to come back to a standardized subset of things. Like if your person is suggesting that you're doing all these crazy box jumps and you should be balancing on Bosu balls upside down and doing all this stuff, then they need to pull their own head out of their ass because there's other things you could be doing that are much better suited.
And also for most people, a lot of the things that are glitz and glamour on Instagram and all these crazy workouts, for the average person who's not a top-tier athlete, there's probably a lot of things they could be doing before they would even need to venture into doing anything like that.
Yeah, like just try working out 3 days a week.
Yeah, I think the one thing you told me, you were like,
that was the most raw advice ever.
Like just try working out 3 days a week and stop with all the crazy
the one
nonsense.
thing I think you said once, I don't know if you got a quote or you read it or something, but I'm pretty sure you said it. Someone was like, "Oh, I need help with my bench. What should I do?" And his response was like, "Lift chest for 10 years and then ask me that question."
Yeah, someone's like, "How do you?" I had the question someone asked me. They're like, "How'd you put on the muscle you put on, or how'd you ever?" I go, "Just like exercise for," because I've been lifting for 18 years. So it's like, all right, lift for 18 years and then get back to me.
Now you used to lift on your porch when you were most 15. I think you were 15. You said, or like 12 or somewhere
13.
around there. I think when I was 13, if my parents said, "What do you want for your birthday?" I would have said, "Hey, I want me and my friends to go to sports and games," which oddly enough we were talking about today.
So good.
I want to go to take my friends to sports and games in East Hanover. You told your family that you wanted a bench press.
So I took my 8th grade graduation money and I went to Sports Authority. Throwback. And I bought a 300-pound Olympic weight set.
No longer the authority on
No
sports
longer the authority.
anymore.
300-pound Olympic weight set, bench press, and preacher curl. And I would just have like my 5 CD changer boombox out on the front porch.
Oh, like the 5 thing where
yeah.
it just shuffled the CDs and it shuffled the song?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Dang, dude, we call that Spotify 101.
Yeah, and just listen till I collapse and just lift and,
My first thing
That's
was
insane.
my brother with 2 15-pound dumbbells where my arms would be shaking. And he's like, "I'm moving up to the 20s here, bro. Like, start earlier." And I would do these little like routines in my room, and then like after you'd be dead. But it's funny thinking back to those times where everyone gets their start, and then what that goes to.
But wait,
That's
why? So
incredible.
your older, so Jonathan was like lifting, and why did you want to lift though?
my
what
father's
got you
side, my father's side of the family. So like my
Strong?
dad was always like doing push-ups in the house, and his side of the family was very like
Athletic?
muscular, masculine, all that kind
yeah.
of stuff. So growing up, it was like I kind of want to be like that. Like he raised me looking at like physique and bodybuilder guys like Frank Zane and Schwarzenegger and Franco Columbu and Lou Ferrigno and those guys. So when I had the chance to get that kind of stuff and really kick it in and go towards that with like sports and lifting, it was something that I really wanted to do.
Yeah, I don't think most 13-year-olds are spending their 8th grade graduation money on equipment to lift.
No.
Was a gym membership an option? Was that a thing when we were 13?
Yeah, so I had a gym membership.
The Y or something?
To the FAC. It was the Flanders Athletic Club that was in town.
They had 4 weights.
They had a
I feel
tumble.
like.
No,
Yeah,
it was
legit?
It was it was like a YMCA plus. They had racquetball
Really?
courts and yeah.
Dang, hella
Like
old
you're
guys.
Flanders, I feel like you have to drive like 50 miles, even in Flanders, to get to the gym.
No, it's
Dude, I'm picturing
pretty good.
him like bench pressing at 13 with a full beard, like empty Budweiser cans, like just listening to Eminem, Gangster.
Just a quarter keg.
How did you get your first workouts, or what were you doing to start?
So I was lucky enough that my buddy Jimmy Fiorello, his father brought me and a couple of my friends over to his house for like a 4-week, 2 times a week thing. And he had a gym in his basement, and he taught us through like the basics: bench press, shoulder press. We were doing tricep stuff like skull crushers and bicep
What was
curls.
his
and
certification?
He was just like I don't even know.
Jacked older guy.
I was 12, so I have no
Former.
idea if he had a certification, right? But
Strength.
his son was just like,
A beast.
yeah.
Wore a wife beater
But was he
all the time when he was
okay?
little.
So we were just in a lucky circumstance. So he taught us all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember at that point, like I'd be like completely sore, and then I started seeing like the line of my tricep coming out on the inside of my arm.
How good is that?
And the
feeling?
second you saw that, I was like, okay, I'm hooked.
Dude, so the first
What
time
if
I
I could get a
ever,
line on the other one too?
the first time I started lifting, I was lifting with like a good friend of ours. He was like the captain of the football team, and I mean, you guys know me forever. I'm 5 foot nothing, 130 pounds soaking wet, and same thing. He's like, dude, you're gonna lift with me. I don't care how much you weigh. The only thing we're gonna focus on is form. That's it.
Yeah.
So like I'm barely like holding up the 45s, putting them on the bench, taking them off, like putting on the bitch ass 10-pound weight and like doing it. But I remember and I was telling Jack this the other day. The first time I felt my lat hit my shirt, I was like, oh, like I like this feeling.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's tough because especially when you start working out, a lot of people have the mentality of I need to lift as much weight as possible versus going towards form and stuff. Because I think the one thing you always have to recognize, even if you're just starting out, is the gym is effort-based. It's not weight-based, right? Adaptation comes from stress being input into the body. It breaks you down a little bit. And then your body says, well, that didn't feel great, so it's going to build itself stronger. So the second time it sees that same instance, it's not going to be as damaged. So when you're doing that, too many people focus on like, well, I need to bench 225. Where like, if I could bench, say I could bench 300 pounds, and you could bench 200 pounds. But if you're doing your reps with 175, 185, you're at a higher percentage to what your max is or to what your threshold is. And if I'm benching at like the same thing, 175, 185, I'm only going to like 60% or 50% of what my max is. So like from the effort standpoint, it doesn't really matter about the weight as much. Are you pushing yourself within those limitations? So I think we need to stop thinking so much about like what everyone else in the gym is doing and just worry about what I'm doing.
So do you, because we've all seen that guy at the gym.
Everyone's that
who's
guy.
doing, like sometimes you'll watch like The Rock do for tricep pull downs with the rope, right?
Yep.
You'll see it, and you'll see the weight go up, and you're like, in your head, you're like, okay, that's not that much. Granted, he's the fucking Rock, right?
For sure.
So whether
He
he's
is The
doing,
Rock.
assuming he's not doing it like just like he did it, he racked the thing, and then he's doing this for Instagram. We've all seen that guy that's like, ugh, and he's using his whole back to do, and he's barely moving his tricep.
Yeah.
Do you think that is a recent phenomenon because of like social media and like it's in their head?
No.
So you think it was like before that people are just like,
so it's, and one thing I want to make sure is that I'm never going to rip on anyone that is going to the gym.
yeah,
Right? Like if you're actively trying to make yourself better and there are things that are not great about your form or what you're doing or your choice of workout or like that, like I'm not going to rip you on that because you're trying to make positive gains, right?
Yeah,
but from that circumstance, it's more of just an ego thing, right? Like for the person that sees The Rock doing 75 and they're like, well, I can do 85 and I'm doing more than The Rock. Like, yeah, but you're not seeing everything else. Like the part about social media is like you only show people what you want them to see.
yeah,
Right? Like you could be as transparent as you want to or not. So like everyone's profile picture is their best picture.
Of course.
Everyone's video is that best rep. So
Yeah,
you're not seeing all the other stuff behind the scenes.
So you think it's just like, but there, okay, if it's a competition, right? Mm-hmm. Let's say it was me versus you as far as a weightlifting thing goes.
Sure.
I might sacrifice a little bit of my form just to try to lift more weight than you to win that thing.
Sure.
When you're in the gym, the only person you're cheating is yourself.
Million.
So why do you think that guy that's like bending his back for the tricep pull down is doing that versus like, do you think he doesn't know that he's doing it wrong? Let's start there.
Possibly. So I think he doesn't know that he's doing it wrong because I don't think enough people take the time to invest in having a qualified professional teach them stuff in the beginning. Like most of the people are learning it from their high school soccer coach or their high school football coach, right? Who has had some exercise experience. But that person maybe didn't learn from the right person either. So you're hoping the information you're gathering is from someone that maybe by chance knows what the hell they're doing. And most people don't. So like if I want to learn any craft, I hire a professional, right?
Yeah.
The problem is we always tend to try and do things the cheap way. Like if I want to learn how to speak Spanish, I need to hire a Spanish tutor.
Yeah.
If I want to learn how to drive my car, I have to do my hours of driving with a driving instructor before I'm even eligible to get behind the wheel. And it shouldn't be different if you're doing something that's affecting your body, your joints, your muscle, your ligament, your tendon every single day, and it's going to affect you for the rest of your life.
It might be a little bit too of when you say why do people do that, it's reinforcing bad practices. Like the person who's really good at one type of lift or is really good at chest and arms day, why don't they work out their legs? Because that's really hard for them and it's really easy to do.
People don't like to
I've seen
do
that
things
guy
they're
too.
not good at,
And-
right?
yeah.
So like, what sports did you play in kindergarten?
In kindergarten?
Yeah.
5, 0.
None.
Probably, maybe T-ball.
That explains a lot. Chase, what sports did you play when you were...
Soccer, Little League Baseball,
Like, yeah.
karate.
Hold on, kindergarten, you're 5 years old.
Oh, kindergarten.
You mean like as a kid, like a
Yeah,
little
as a kid, when you first started doing sports.
Baseball
Yeah.
was number one.
Cool.
Soccer, baseball.
Okay, so what did you start doing in high school?
Just weightlifting and wrestling.
Okay, why did you stray away from soccer and?
I am not very fast.
You weren't
And
you
I'm not
weren't,
as
you
good
weren't
as
as good at it.
Right.
People don't stick with things they're not as good at. So if you're not as good at getting lifting weights, or your cardio is not great, or you're not as in shape, and you're going into a gym where it's only going to highlight everything that you're not as good at, or you don't really know what the hell you're doing, and you're kind of like, well, I don't really know what the purpose of this is, you're not going to stick with it. So that's my point, is like, people stray away from things they aren't good at, or they don't see themselves as good at, and that's one of the things that happens with weightlifting as well.
I've been working out for 10 years on and off, and I'm going to have my first leg day with Dave sometime next week.
So why, okay, so all right, a few questions. Then why do people go to the gym?
Because people want to do better. You have to think, in every instance in your life, your mom and dad or guardians or whoever are in the back of your head. Okay? So when you were in middle school, you do great on a test, or you're a kid and you get a check plus on your whatever. What do you do?
Plus, baby.
Well, you got to check plus. You know you're getting Denville Dairy when you get home,
right?
boy.
So what do you do? You bring it home and you show your parents immediately.
Like this.
Now, if you got a check minus, what do you do?
Throw it in the garbage. So you lost the test.
Exactly.
There was no test.
Exactly.
You mean test.
You bury it in your backpack and you act
test.
like this never happened. So what happens is think about it this way when it comes to like diet and stuff. Every decision you make, you know whether it's a good decision or a bad decision. So if you ate a tray of cookies, even though you're gonna feel bloated and stuff, after you feel like drinking a beer. After you feel like trash. Because you know, I shouldn't have done that. But if you eat a salad, most people that eat one salad and they're like, oh, I feel so much better. Because you did something that was good. So like you always have that conscience in the back of your head that's telling you that you're doing good things or bad things.
Yeah.
So if I said, are cookies healthy for you?
No.
Okay, are salads healthy for you?
Yes.
Done. Right? But most people are like, well, I don't know how to navigate my nutrition.
I'm
You
just
do,
more-
you just don't like the options.
I'm more just like,
I
if
see.
you're going to go to the gym and lift, you're making the conscious effort to go and get stronger.
Do
and
positive
be
things
healthy.
for yourself. Yeah.
Why wouldn't you do that, one, the right way, but two, do it the whole way?
Because it could cost money. Because it's not fun.
No, it's definitely not.
Right? Like I
But
think the biggest piece of feedback.
it's not fun.
It's not. The biggest piece of feedback I get is when people start working out and they go, "Oh, I can't wait till this is easier," and I'm like, "It's only going to stay difficult. If you're doing it right, it only stays
you're
hard."
moving the
Well,
ball.
all right, so let me
Yeah.
ask you this. How much does a good trainer cost? Because you're talking about money, right? So it's
Sure.
like, okay, how much... A decent gym, how much should that cost? Or a personal trainer where they're bringing you to their house? Like, how much
And
does
what would
getting
be
in...
an appropriate amount of hours per week or sessions per week to get adequate knowledge and training for a consistent
Sure.
time?
So, great question. I think when it comes to hiring a professional for something like that, it's important, A, you get more repetition in the beginning. Most people try and stretch it out to get the most out of whatever they're doing. But we
Yeah,
know
one
it like,
session a week
if you
for
were doing
3 years.
Spanish classes once a week for 6 months, you're not going to learn that much. You're probably better suited doing like
lot.
3 times a week for 2 months.
Is it... Okay, so is it... So if you hire a personal trainer, is it then just like in an intermediate to get a foundational understanding and then it's like you
Yes,
move on?
and that's the second piece, is you got to make sure that if you're hiring someone that you're learning from it, right? So when I try and explain it to people, I explain it as getting a recipe book versus learning how to cook, right? So most trainers, what they'll do is they will write you a workout, which is great. You can
give you the recipe.
Like you can give me the recipe.
Yeah, but...
It doesn't mean that I know what to do in the kitchen.
Dang,
Right? So,
dude.
like,
I don't
that's
know.
the important thing. I want you to teach me how to do this so that I know when I'm varying my sets, reps, rest, exercise progression and regression. Why am I doing things? Why are we choosing the barbell? Why are we choosing the hex bar? Why is the resistance band different? Why are we using that part of the gym? Why am I only doing cardio this many times per week? Like, those are the
Okay.
important things that you need to
And
learn.
You're teaching that to your clients in
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah.
So-
So, do you have any clients that just want a recipe book, or is
Mil-
that not?
Probably 75%.
Really?
Because it's one less thing to think about.
They're just like, yo, just show me what to do, like,
Yeah.
and I'll see you later.
I just need you to
Being on the same page, though.
tell me what I need to do today, and then I will see you on Wednesday.
What
I
other
mean,
questions should like a person ask about, other than the certifications, cost? Well, how much does it cost? Did we say that?
So it depends on the market that you're in. I think in Jersey, New York City versus New Jersey is highly different.
Jersey,
right?
Jersey.
So like
most of our listeners are from Jersey.
Yeah, right. But I'm saying like even that, like so for instance, if you go out like where I'm from, like out by like Mount Olive and stuff like that, like the trainers at Gold's Gym get paid $20 an hour. Or in New York City, 30 miles away, the trainers get paid like $75 an hour from a commercial gym. Trainers that are private can charge up to $225 an hour in the city. They may charge as low as $15 an hour out in the sticks. So it depends. I think if you it should be the same
number. Someone listening
like $75 an hour. Like I think if you have someone that's doing $75 an hour, that's a very reasonable number when it comes down to it. Because you need to be learning from that process. And if it means that for the next 30 years, you know what the hell you're doing, it's an easy benefit.
For what, a month? Two times a day?
I would say at least.
I mean, two times a day.
2 days. I would suggest at least 6 to 8 weeks. Minimum. You need enough time to feel it out and see the benefits.
This is someone with zero knowledge.
Zero knowledge. I would say you should be working with someone 3 times a week
for 8 weeks.
And
you'll kind of know what you're doing for the next 30 years.
Especially in the beginning, because if you've never worked out before, most of the benefits you have are neurological. So it's neuromuscular connections that tap in. So you have these restrictors in your body. Your body is way more complicated than we think it is. So there's a bunch of receptors that'll tell you certain things that you should or should not do. In the beginning, your body's kind of waging it out going, we've never lifted weights before. We don't want to hurt the joint. We don't want to hurt the ligament, the tendon, any of that kind of stuff. Yeah. So we're going to hold back. So if you think back to when you first started working out, your weights probably went up the most drastic within your first 6 months of exercise.
Yeah.
That's that foundational period. So like if you do that correct, you're in a good spot.
Dude, I remember my first day obviously was a chest day, right?
Obviously.
Me and my boy were lifting. Dude, I drove home in my Chevy Blazer like this. I could not move. I couldn't move my arms for probably a week and a half. Couldn't do that.
I threw up after, I think it was like my second or third week of lifting. I went really hard and vomited and then went to sleep and then woke up sick like 3 hours later.
But that's one of the things that people mistaken is they think that soreness is a result of if you had a good workout or not.
Okay, so
not at all.
Going back to my back, right?
Sure.
I have, I would say, a weaker lower back than I probably should have.
Okay.
So I have to, in my head, lift it more. Not heavy where I'm like, in pain.
Sure.
But like where the next day you're like, maybe you sneeze or you get out of bed and you're like, oh, okay, I kind of feel it. What is the tipping point between like, okay, yeah, you should never feel this way? Where I'm sure me driving home like this, that was bad. Sure. But me also being able to do this the next day, no problem, I can move my arm. Is like, all right, you didn't lift as much as you should.
You should be feeling it in muscles, not in joints.
Okay.
Okay. Right? So like your lower back is primarily a joint setup. Not necessarily, you're not high in muscle fibers in your lower back, right? If someone were to dig their knuckle into your lower back, it's pretty sensitive and painful because there's not a lot there, right? Yeah. So you shouldn't really be feeling your deadlifts in your lower back, right? So then that's where it is. The reason why you want to feel it in muscle and not joints is for the same reason that when you're a kid and you jump off the swings, did you ever jump off the swings with straight legs?
No.
Oh my God.
Why?
You'd blow your knees
because
out.
It sounds miserable, right? Your muscles are meant to absorb. Your muscles are meant to absorb force. So you have to utilize them in that way. So you should be feeling it through your glutes, your hamstrings, your mid back, your upper back, but you shouldn't be feeling it through your lower back. That means that maybe somewhere in the pattern,
I mean the deadlifts I was doing wasn't
like you're
bringing
breaking
it down. I was only doing like the lower back. Like I only brought it. I like barely brought it past my knees and then lifted it back. But what about? But like you'll catch people that are like, yo, I had a sick leg day. Like I could barely walk today. My legs are so sore. That's not ideal.
Not really. No, you should be sore for probably 2 days.
Sore as in like
2-3 days.
Not being unable to walk.
Yeah, like you're gonna. It's gonna be achy. You're not gonna be a baby giraffe for 4 days, but you're gonna be a little. You should get better sleep that night. If you sleep much better that night, you did a good job.
Now, what about? Now, I would say now, when we were in school, like high school, middle school, it was like, as we joked before, like, how much do you bench? That was like the thing to like talk about. Yo, I benched this, I deadlifted this. you'll see now more people like the what's that guy that we follow, Mike GBT or something? He does the animal movements.
Mike Fitch.
Yeah. You see more stuff now, not so much isometric, like curls like this.
Yeah.
It'll be like guys swinging from like monkey bars to bouncing down to
More
rolling.
functional movements.
Yeah. Is that better? Is that just like a fad? Is that more long-term sustainable versus like heavy bench?
I think everyone needs a little bit of everything. I think you have to match what you're doing for your exercise to the fundamentals of what your life are. So if you want, there's a cost to doing business with everything. So if you want to pack on massive amounts of muscle, you're going to be less mobile. You're going to be less athletic from a performance standpoint. But from a strength standpoint, yeah, you're going to lift a bunch of heavy shit. If I am Mike Fitch and I'm mobile and I'm active and I can do all these crazy things, which he's great. I won't be as strong in certain linear paths. So I think you're always going to have things you're better at and things you're worse at. That's okay. What do you want to be good at? And I think that's the problem where people start asking about well, this person's fit. Okay, well then what is fit?
Okay, so all right, so if I hired you and you had to train me, right? You didn't know, I never lifted before, nothing. You don't know anything about me. If you could only ask me one question to guide the way you're going to train me, what would be one question you would ask? Because if I said, hey, I want to have the biggest chest possible, I want to be an Olympic bodybuilder, the way you would train me would be very different. If I said, hey, I want to do jiu-jitsu till I'm dead, till I'm 85, the way you would train me would be different. So if you could only ask one question as a trainer, what do you think that question would be?
You're kind of asking me an impossible question, but
what do you bench?
Because you wouldn't ask
what's your
how much
max?
do you want to bench? Because you wouldn't. Because I'm assuming most trainers are like, what are your goals, right?
For sure.
So Emily and I, we were checking out gyms, and most gyms we went to, they were like, what are your goals? And we'd be like, we want to lose a little bit of weight and get in shape. And he's like, yeah, that's what most people say. And in my head, I'm like, that was a stupid question that he asked because he knew he was going to get this dumb answer that he always gets. So unless he has another follow-up question that breaks that down, that was just a waste of a question.
Totally.
We were like, we want to get in shape and lose weight. He was like, oh, interesting. That's very different.
That's one of the two questions answers I always hear. Yeah.
So all right, maybe this is a better question. If someone out there is looking for a personal trainer, what are some of the things that they should be looking for in the personal trainer when they're getting their intel on that person? What should they be looking for?
They should look for people that want detail. Like that kid that said, what are your goals? And you said, I want to lose weight. Awesome. How much do you want to lose? Why do you want to lose it? What makes you feel that way? How come you want to do this? Because that's someone that is going to get deeper to the root of what you're actually looking to do, right? So if you were like, hey, I want to lose weight. Why do you want to lose weight?
So it's not even so much the question. It's just, are they trying to find out about you?
Yeah, are they genuinely interested in what you have to provide?
Would you say part of the reason most people don't stick with going to the gym or doing that is because they never get to the root of what they want and it's unsustainable, or they?
I don't think it's a matter of getting to the root of what it is. I think most people know what the root of what it is. They just don't like to see it. Right?
Wow,
I think we all know reasons why we don't do certain things. We all have our insecurities. We all have these things that we close behind our doors and kind of go, I hope no one knows this about me, or I hope no one sees this. It's a matter of confronting that and being like, yo, I'm a lazy fuck and I need to be going to the gym, or I'm not taking care of myself the way I should, or I could have opted for this other thing, but I didn't do this. That's where we run into a lot of issues, and I want someone on the other side who is going to try and troubleshoot that in every possible way to try and get the best answer for me.
You said something that has stuck with me for the past month or so, where you were like, if you could take a pill, we joked about last episode, where it was if I could take a pill and never eat again, it's I would.
Yeah.
If you could take a pill and just be in shape and be healthy, everyone would do it. No one, quote unquote, likes going to the gym. But if you equate it in your brain to brushing your teeth, it's like you would never wake up one day hungover, tired, and be like, I'm too tired to brush my teeth or shower before work. It's like you're going to shower, assuming you're not a complete scumbag. You're going to brush your teeth and take a shower before work every fucking day.
Yeah, if you woke up and your breath was minty fresh and you didn't have to...
You're never brushing your teeth.
You would never brush your teeth. But you do it because you have to. So, and doing this regular stuff, it's funny because you talk about that from a dental standpoint, but if you said like, hey, your heart needs you to do a certain amount of elevated heartbeat. People are like, nah, fuck that.
I literally think some people
Your heart reached out and said,
Dude, I think some people think they can outthink their diet and their physical well-being. Like they're like, I'm too smart to
like the
to
BJ,
not be in shape.
Like the BJJ thing you said though earlier. The more I learn about exercise science, anatomy, physiology, biomechanics, the more I realize we have no fucking clue. Like it's so complicated that like
it never ends.
We're only scratching the surface.
Yeah.
Well, I think where you said about education and doing things the right way, you were saying you also do with nutrition. Most people have like no idea what's in the food they eat or making choices. They know salad versus French fries, but sometimes you're eating. You might think orange juice is super healthy. In moderation, it's not the end of the world, but you're making poor choices the same way we're working out if you don't have
a
fundamental basis.
I think people are scared though of the tiny detail. Like, if you ask someone, hey, how's your diet been? Like, how are things going? How
it's
are you
been
eating?
Okay. Sometimes I'd eat crap.
But most people are like, well, I read this article. I guess I'm not getting enough magnesium. And it's like,
Bro.
or you're eating 4 cheeseburgers at lunch, and that's the problem. Or you're eating a muffin, which is cake for breakfast, and that's the problem.
Well, dude, I saw a meme. I saw a meme the other day. It was like, these are how many donuts are in a glass of orange juice. These are how many donuts are in a bag of like whatever.
Yeah.
And the comments were like, I guess donuts aren't that unhealthy after all. They weren't looking at it's like, no, it's like, it's all bad. And they're like, looks like you're going to have 2 donuts.
No, but it's like people don't look into stuff. Yeah. It's just like you said with like protein bars. Like protein bars are like a glorified Snicker bar. If you look at most of them.
Oh, some of them, yeah.
They're just like high sugar,
dude, you'll get a
fat.
Dude, you'll get a bar this big. It's like 30 grams of sugar, 20 grams of protein, and people are like, "Oh, 20 grams of protein."
But it's a power bar, yeah, exactly.
I'm not getting enough high fructose corn syrup in my day.
I saw there was almond milk at Whole Foods the one time, and it was, if you look at the front, it was like protein powered almond milk, 5 times the protein. Because almond milk has 1 fucking gram of protein in it.
Yeah.
So it's 5 grams of protein in the 1 cup. Like that's not doing a dent, but people will see that and they go, oh, I'm doing the right thing, which isn't
there's
bad.
a lot of marketing that goes into.
But just focus on. Listen, if you are gaining weight when you shouldn't be gaining weight, eat less. If you want to gain weight, eat more. If you do that and it still doesn't work, then start worrying about the deeper details and have someone else look at it for you. Like,
maybe some quick hitting questions.
Sure.
If someone if someone listening right now is like, fuck, you know what? Maybe I should get a personal trainer for a month, 2 months. Where do they go to look? Google.com, like they're not
personaltrainer.com.
Yeah.
No, I would go to the NSCA and check that out.
NSCA.
Yeah, National Strength and Conditioning Association, or NASM, or go to one of their local facilities, stuff like that.
But I feel so done with the quick hitting questions.
On that note, a lot of times I feel like people just want to seek out someone who looks physically impressive as a trainer, just thinking if that person did that for themselves, that
just
it's
because
like a pipe dream of association.
Because someone is athletic or fit or lean doesn't mean they know how to teach it. Let's be very clear on that. Like,
they might be good at doing it themselves.
No question. There are plenty of trainers that have always been lean.
Yeah.
Right? Like they've always been athletic. They could get away with a couple things when it comes to eating. It doesn't mean they're not disciplined or not working out or whatever, but right? But I think we all can agree when it comes to childhood, some people have it easier than others.
Yeah.
So the person that's never had to deal with weight loss issues, never had to deal with the insecurities, never felt uncomfortable taking their shirt off on the beach, and that kind of stuff, they have no fucking clue what the person on the other side of the table feels like in that situation because they've never been there. It's like I can write a marathon program for someone, but I can never tell you what it's like at mile 18.
Yeah.
Because I've never run it.
Got it.
So I'm not going to try and impose what I think that feels like. I'm going to get you in contact with someone who does know what that feels like.
I thought you ran a marathon to get here today.
No, I've done beer marathons. But, do you want to answer some of the questions that people have?
Yeah, we'll jump into them in a sec.
Okay.
Okay. So, and what was it you said? If they want to find
NSCA.
NSCA.
NASM you can go with, but I would say go to a local place, or if you have someone that is a friend, find someone that's worked with. Listen, by association is good. Find someone that you know that has worked with a trainer or a strength coach or a professional, and get a referral from that.
Number one food to get rid of to immediately help someone's diet. So right now, someone out there listening is like, "Oh, well, I eat this, I eat this, I eat this." If they could just cut out one, like
donuts.
If they could cut out one thing, that would be like, all right, if you stop eating this one type of food, maybe it's not as specific as a donut, but like, and maybe it's not as, micro as like cut out all added sugar.
Sure.
What would be like one thing, immediate diet change that after, call it 30 days, they would feel a little bit better?
So my answer is going to be different from what you want to hear, but it's going to be extras. Stop eating seconds.
But
stop doubling down.
But
I'm never going to say
I'm hungry.
Correct, right? So I'm never going to
Tastes good.
say don't eat this or eat this. Because everyone's in different socioeconomic situations. Some people can only afford certain things. There is no good and bad. Like there's no clean eating and dirty eating. That's a line of bullshit.
Really?
Eat more of these things, eat some of these things, and eat less of this. So I'm never going to be like, don't eat pizza. No, you're going to want to have a slice of pizza if you're out with your friends and you want to enjoy some stuff. If you have, if there's cake available at the wedding, get a slice of cake. Enjoy it. You're in a celebratory situation. But don't get seconds. Okay. Like, dessert used to be a celebratory thing. You don't need dessert after every meal.
But you do, though.
But you don't, right? But that's what I'm saying. Like, don't you don't need seconds. You don't need to pile up.
Cut one slice and then take the whole cake and leave one slice.
Eat more of certain things. Eat a moderate amount of other things, and eat less of these things. But I wouldn't cut it out. So I said that cut one thing out, cut seconds out. Okay. If you feel 80% full, you're good.
Just call it quits.
You won't. Yeah, you're not going to die of starvation. You're good.
Okay.
I have a question. The other side of the trainer who's in very good physical shape might not necessarily be able to teach it.
Sure.
What about a trainer who isn't in impressive shape at all, or likely is in terrible shape? That I think is a little bit harder to sell.
Yeah.
But
it's difficult. I mean, I think it's we try and tell people not to judge a book by its cover.
Don't hire the fatty. That's what
he knows the most.
No,
because I don't partake in it because my goals are different.
Right? Like, so you got to think, it depends on what fitness is. So for certain people, if you're a power lifter, if you're a strong man, if you're whatever, you're not going to be super lean and ripped and any of that. Because from a performance standpoint, that doesn't necessarily matter. I need more weight behind the bar. So that stuff depends. That may be like a discipline thing. Listen, their knowledge based on a certain topic is independent of their discipline on a certain topic. Like, you could give unbelievable financial advice to other people and be massively in debt on your own.
So for that person then, because I do agree with you, because a guy like John Danaher, he doesn't row live anymore. But no one would say that guy doesn't know what he's talking about with jiu-jitsu. Nobody would. If like a not in shape guy was giving out advice, would you want to be like, hey, show me some what's the word?
Like testimonials?
Yeah.
Yeah, show me what you've done.
Like, who have you worked with? Like,
yes, you should always ask that.
Referrals. Like,
always ask that. If you're investing in someone to help you with any kind of service, whether it's training or whatever, you should be asking those questions as if it's a financial investment. So if you went to a financial advisor and you said, hey, I'm going to give you $5,000. And they go, yeah, I'll give you $5,000 and we're going to make you a bunch of money.
Yeah.
The logical questions you would have are, how's it going to happen? How much am I risking?
Have you done this before?
Have you done this before?
Yeah.
What should I expect from my return on the investment? Mm-hmm. How long should I expect to wait to get that return of investment? Like, all those questions are still the same thing when you're investing in any service where there's no tangible outcome immediately. Like, if I go into a store and I buy jeans, I can walk out with the jeans. When I invest in a trainer or a professional to do a service for me, I'm walking out with just hopes that they're going to follow through on their end.
Pre-workout, legit or no?
Yes, I think that too many people will spend $50 on a jug of super nitro crazy XXL death powder when you could just get a cup of coffee.
Okay. Post-workout.
Post-workout, you should be eating within the next 2 hours after
Eating or protein shake?
So you want to try and have a meal within 2 hours afterwards. You can have a protein shake for sure.
Those donuts.
It's not those donuts. Like 30 minutes, you gotta get stuff in.
No,
fake news.
No. It's just more research has come out. It's more of like a 2 hour window for yourself. So the way I would explain it is, if you've ever been outside of Madison Square Garden after a Knicks game, not now because the Knicks suck, but like 20 years ago, how many cabs are outside of MSG right when the game ends?
All of the cabs.
Okay, what about half an hour later?
Far less.
Hour later, hour and a half later. Think of it that way. So there's a dissipating.
Got it.
Amount of people that are available, and those are
so the sooner the better. But
in the body, those are GLUT4 transporters, and what they do is they facilitate nutrients and everything where it needs to go post workout. They're at their highest when you're after activity like that. So you want to utilize that window, but you should be eating 2-to-1 ratio of carbohydrates to protein. So you want simple sugars. That's why
10 grams of carbohydrates, 20 grams of protein.
Wrong, opposite. 20 grams of carbohydrates, 10 grams of protein. Or 40 grams of carbohydrates, 20 grams of protein. So you're good with 20 grams, 25 grams after a workout. You don't need the 50 gram ultra mega whey.
But I want to see
bear
gains,
claw,
bro.
Right?
I think you were a little different where you were like so thin when you were working. You had to consume such a large amount of calories.
I wasn't eating.
Against,
I wouldn't eat. Dude, I didn't eat breakfast.
Where I ate like 7 meals a day.
And you have the protein shakes that you introduced us to.
Owen. Yeah. Only what you need. Those are plant-based protein shakes, low in sugar. They make meal replacements now, which are
meal replacement. The shakes. Yeah, the bigger ones.
Which are a 1.5 to 1 ratio of carbohydrates to protein. So it's 30 grams of carbs, 20 grams of protein. I can have that right after a workout.
What's your knowledge on having calories coming from real food as opposed to shakes? Are shakes a good supplement for protein, good for right after the workout? Do you ideally not want to have shakes if you're able to eat with your schedule, like cook and make your own meals?
You want to eat as many whole meals as possible. Supplements are supplements for a reason, right? They're supplemental to what you should already be doing. So you should be trying to have full meals for whatever you're eating. But yeah, if you need a quick shake, great. Should you be having shakes at all times of the day? No. If you have a coach that's trying to sell you on this new shake program that'll lose 10 pounds in the next 4 days, it'll absolutely do that, right? But that's water weight. I had someone come in and they go, I really want to lose weight. And I go, okay, so what do you want to do? And they're like, I need a challenge. What do you mean? They're like, every time I do a corporate challenge, I kill it. We always get first place. We lost 30 pounds. My follow-up question was, and then what? And then I gain it back, and I don't really know what it is because it's short term. Yeah, it's short term.
It's high level.
It's water weight. It's you're not changing. The problem is you can change small increment situations. You can't change habits.
Yeah.
Right. That's if someone is crappy in their relationship and they cheated on their girlfriends. They cheated.
All you have to do is buy them flowers.
You could literally stop. They could stop for a couple of years, but the person you are is generally the person you are.
Yeah. What about to track all any sort of I want to track how much weight I'm lifting. I want to track my calories. I want to track how much weight I'm losing. I want to track progress.
Marble Mead notebook.
Wow. But
just get a piece of get something that you can lock down.
No app.
No, because then you're carrying your phone into the weight room, and you're going to be on Instagram. You're not going to be on your app.
Do you feel like that can be the reason a lot of people do it and then stop, something like that, as they go full blown I'm going to track everything and do that, and it's almost so unnatural and so exhausting.
You're changing too many variables at once. So people hit January and they're like, you know what?
Dude,
I'm going to do the Navy SEALs workout.
I'm going to do Bud's workout.
It's you're Tom that blew out your ACL in softball league last year because you're 41 and you don't work out. You're not a fucking
Like
Navy
this,
SEAL.
how about you just go and do a
Full
push-up?
camo in the morning
Yeah.
on the beach.
Like,
listening to
that's
book.
not you.
Oh my god!
But too many
that's
people
so
try and
funny.
change too many variables at once, right? So here's a perfect example. When it comes to drinking more water, too many times you'll go to a doctor and the doctor goes, "You need to be drinking 8 glasses a day,"
Dude, I love water. I feel like I
which is
die
great,
without
right?
it.
8 glasses of water, cool. How do I do that? Don't just say like 8 glasses. How do I actually make that happen?
Yeah.
So if I'm working with
Galloners.
someone, what we do is we go, okay, what I want you to do is I want you to drink 1 glass of water before you work out, and 1 glass of water after you work out. Do that for 2 weeks, and we'll progress. They do it for 2 weeks. Awesome. Now I need to drink 1 glass of water with every meal: breakfast, lunch, dinner.
So yeah,
Then before, right after you wake up, right before you go to bed. Then mid-workout, after like 6 weeks, you've learned a behavior that you'll be able to take on past that point, not just an immediate fix.
but how? Okay, so how do you, as a trainer, get people to understand? It's like, because if I'm paying you $75,
Sure.
Whatever, right, an hour. I want to get in shape as quick as possible to save as much money as possible. How are you being like, look, just drink 2 glasses of water, 1 before you work out and 1 after. How do you manage that person's mindset when they're like, I'll just drink 8, trust me, I've never done it for 45 years of my life, but now I'll do it. How are you like changing their mindset to be like, relax,
So,
just drink this, trust me.
you have to take it a week at a time, but a lot of people are in contemplation phase. And what happens is they do things that are contraindicated to what they ask and they want to do. So like they want to lose 10 pounds and they know they need to stop drinking beer every single night, but they're unwilling to leave from that. So then maybe we're just not at the point where we can have that type of
How do you
conversation.
stop? How do you stop that?
But that's cool. Like I can't stop that. They have to stop that. So I need to help have the conversations to when they find the time that they are comfortable in making that decision.
so you don't like
So, have
fat
you ever-
shame them?
No.
Just
Have
be
you
like,
ever,
"Yo,
have you ever
fucking
had someone?
cut it out?
You ever had someone?
fucking
You ever
bum."
dated someone and people were like, "Dude, you need to dump her,"
Yeah.
and you kept dating them
Yeah.
until you got to the point where you're like, "No, that's it. We're done."
It had to be.
People will tell you stuff all the time. It's not going to change your decision making. So if you're saying you want something or you don't want something, no matter what I say, it's not going to change the way you feel about it. You have to make that decision.
Yeah.
All you can
Okay.
do is try and influence, be positive, make suggestions, and do that.
Yeah, give them information. You can give people information on certain topics. You're good.
Yeah, I feel like yeah, I guess you're right. Like you're only dealing with people. You should only be dealing with people that are like, yo, I'm committed to getting in shape. I want to get healthier.
Yeah.
Help me out. Versus you going to their house and being like, you need to get in shape. You need to get healthier.
I can never want that person's goal more than they want that goal.
It's interesting.
It's not my direction. It's not my task. It's not my quest. Like
Yeah.
that's them.
Yeah.
If you want to do this, great. I'll be a part of it.
Can you sniff that out in like 5 seconds? Where you're like, oh, this
No.
is a fucking bum. He doesn't actually want it.
No, but I think, listen, if someone's even willing to have the conversation about what they can
That's why we're
do,
not
there's
treating
some
this
level.
guy's a fucking bum.
There's level of interest, right? Like
Yeah,
people,
of course, yeah.
they're interested enough to do that. Most of the hurdles that people throw in their way are because they don't see that it can actually happen.
Do you feel, okay, so do you actually feel that people actually believe that they can't, look, am I ever going to be the size of like Arnold? Probably not, right? But do you actually believe that there are some people that actually believe that they can't be physically strong, healthy,
Yeah.
and look better than wow. That's from what, like childhood type shit, or?
That's for a different professional to get paid for.
You're like, yeah, I'm a personal trainer.
Yeah,
not
that's
a
for a different.
psychiatrist.
That's a
All right.
different professional's job.
All right, yeah. So we have some questions that a lot of people submitted that some of them actually we ended up covering, oddly enough. So I guess we're on the same
cool.
page. But if I only have 30 minutes to work out a day, what would you recommend that I do in those 30 minutes, other than bench press for 28 minutes and flex for 2 minutes?
Well, that's
Yeah.
my answer.
So the quick answer is you should be doing strength training. You can get cardiovascular.
But what is that? Just lifting
Like
weights.
resistance training. You should be doing some type of resistance training in a compact way. I think the only having 30 minutes is, listen, I don't know anyone's particular situation, but only having 30 minutes is a priority thing. It's less of a, do you have that thing? So
Sure.
let's
Of
imagine
course.
whatever your job is, those are hours dedicated that you can't be working out. Unless you're me, then I can fit that in my day. You're sleeping. Those are hours you're not doing anything. Then what are the remaining hours there? And if you timestamp that and see, okay, I have 30 minutes, but it's because I'm watching 2 hours of BoJack Horseman, or is it like I legitimately only have 30 minutes?
If they legit, assuming
so
they
then
only actually have 30 minutes to like squeeze it.
So then you better find a good in-home thing to do. Because you're not going to have 30 minutes to go to the gym.
True, okay.
Right? Now we're tracking and commute.
Yeah.
You're not going to have 30 minutes to go to the gym. So you're going to have a good strength training routine that's going to oversee. You can do bands. That part doesn't really matter. You have to do resistance training. You have to be able to do things that are full body perspective. And if you can do that 4 days a week, amazing. But that's for someone else who can help you sift through that. I think that's a very specific question, and resistance training is the way to do it. How that person does it specifically bases on what their goal is, what they're looking to do, past injuries, setup.
I'd be willing to bet that 9 out of 10 people that would ask this question actually have more than 30 minutes in a day.
Yeah.
They don't actually have 30. They have more.
No question.
Okay, fair.
But bar trivia starts at 8, so.
Yeah. But I have to go on Netflix for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Manifest is on. I have to watch it.
These Ray Donovan marathons are killing my workouts.
Are morning or night workouts better? So let's say I have the flexibility to work out in the morning, and I'm awake and I'm good to go, or I can work out at night, I'm awake and I'm good to go. Does it matter?
Whenever you're going to get the most out of your workout. So if you're a male, your growth type of hormones are a little more elevated in the evening, like 5 p.m., 6 p.m.
You're getting very micro right now, you're saying.
Yeah.
So it's just the answer is whenever
that's right. People hear that and they go, well, I have to work out at night. No. When are you getting 100% out of yourself? If you're a morning person and you can get that hour in the morning,
do it.
1,000,000% work out in the morning.
Okay.
If it's better at night, great. For me, like I need to work out earlier because as the day goes along, more and more I'm like, dude, I don't want to work out.
Okay.
And I also think that's one of the main misconceptions is people that like if you're a trainer or you work out or you work out regularly, it's because you love working out. No, I'm just like, yeah, I used to love working out and I enjoy working out, but there are plenty of days that I'm like, I do not want to work out.
It's the worst.
Right? Like you guys love
jiu-jitsu,
but I'm sure there's days where you're like, I do not want to go. Mm-hmm. But you go. And then afterwards you're like, okay, no, that was
I'm
awesome.
glad I went.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you don't feel guilty.
Correct.
I saw this guy
I love that
the
you
other
just
day.
love working out. It's easy for you.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
And that's a blanket, very easy excuse to throw off.
I'm in Lifetime the other day, right? And I'm lifting, and I look over, and I'm like, oh, this motherfucker's trying to not catch coronavirus. Then I look a little bit deeper because he's far away. He's got on the fucking Viper oxygen, deprivation mask, like tied on his head.
Just Bane.
Literally.
Bane, or is it like a surgical mask?
No, like the wind things.
N95 Corona mask.
Are you done with the tricep extension?
Yeah, dude. Like
I was born in the dark.
the dog. Do those work?
Long answer or short answer?
Short.
No.
Medium answer?
Complete waste of money.
Got it. Cool. Okay, don't wear fucking air masks because... But elevation training is a real thing.
Elevation training means there's different levels of oxygen than there are in the air, and your body has to process them differently. If you shove a mask in front of your face, it's depriving you of the amount of air that is coming into your body, not the level of oxygen content that is in the air. So you putting a mask on is equivalent to you shoving your socks in your mouth.
Okay, but
more expensive.
If you could get BoJack Horseman's mask that deprived the amount of oxygen going in, that would be better.
So you're better to train high and compete low.
Yeah.
You're better to train at higher altitude, and then when you compete, you're at lower altitude because then your body's more efficient with how it processes O2. Yeah.
Okay. This is a simple yes or no. Does videotaping your workouts make you stronger / sexier?
No, it makes you douchier.
Wow. Okay. Done. Okay, so here's a BJJ
unless
question.
it's for like educational purposes for someone else, you're demoing, you're whatever. Like you may be more accountable. Like you may feel stronger in front of a video because you know that other people are going to watch it and you don't want to look like a dick.
Yeah. That's me working out in your basement.
Yeah.
It's not for
No question.
when I have the string back. It is for pure douche factor.
The least,
not-
the jersey trash uniform.
The best is when you used
what's
to do
the-
that at 140 pounds.
Yeah.
All right, so BJ, going back to jiu-jitsu, right? So knowing what you know about it, right?
Okay.
From the stuff that Chase and I talk about,
Yep.
from watching shit, should a person that's doing jiu-jitsu be lifting as much as possible, like a powerlifter to get really strong? Or should they be using like normal weight and try to increase reps so that they're, I guess more long-term durable?
Sure.
They still maintain the flexibility.
So I think you should be on a standard program like the second one. You shouldn't be trying to break records. And I think everyone should, like, you're never on one program forever anyway. So even if you're doing powerlifting, that's one phase of your year. But for that situation, you'd rather have someone who's doing more generalized strength conditioning because your conditioning and your capacity are more important for you in BJJ. Like what you sumo deadlift off the ground isn't going to matter if someone's choking you out.
It definitely will not.
No. So
And this question is a good follow-up. I think the same person asked it. We do all these anonymous, so you don't have to be embarrassed to ask questions. Will the big three lifts be sufficient for jiu-jitsu? So I think that means bench squat, deadlift. Yes. Or do they need to supplement in like shoulder press? I don't think like curls supplementing is going to help you like, in jiu-jitsu, but do they need to supplement anything else?
I think with someone who does any kind of mixed martial art, those are fine. But the patterns that you need to be strong in mixed martial arts are vastly different from straight lines. So like when you're squatting in a straight line. You're deadlifting in a straight line, sagittal plane. If you're benching, which is sagittal plane, which means this way, up in front of myself, right? When you're doing jiu-jitsu, you're utilizing more of your rotational capacity, your anti-rotational capacity, your hip mobility in this odd external rotation with this much flexion and trying to press off of that. So I think you need to vary your level of what you're doing. And there's other things out there like the Viper, which is amazing.
That's
the rubber tube.
Yeah, this thing.
That's unbelievable for this type of
yeah.
stuff. Sandbag training is unbelievable for this type of stuff. If we're talking about Bulgarian bags
It's
are
a water one,
amazing.
right?
So those are generally sand, but you'll see they'll loop around a U and they have the two handles on them. So that stuff is more translatable to this. But like grip strength is one of those key things that you should be focusing on.
Is the Viper thing the one where you have the video of you jumping laterally with that?
Yep. Because the basis of that is like if you look at kids in the Midwest, they may like if you look at the NFL draft, kids in the Midwest, they may do well in their NFL combine stuff. But they're a stronger individual from lifting bales of hay in diagonal patterns because you're not practicing that in the gym, right? But you're practicing that in jiu-jitsu. You're practicing that in hockey, in football, in like J.J. Watt's bench press is irrelevant to his ability to rip through the line.
Oh yeah, of course.
They're unique from one another. So I think you have to train more relatable to whatever you want it to be, right? So if it's for mixed martial arts, then you need to train in that capacity.
Would you come to a class with Chase and I to watch? You can participate if you want to watch, to then formulate some sort of BJJ workout.
Sure, but yeah, I think you stay towards more of the basic things, and that doesn't have to be the main focus of your entire week. But like, say if you're doing a 4-day-a-week split and 2 days are focused on some things that are maybe a little more accustomed to that, then yeah, you're at a big benefit.
So that's actually one of the questions. What's the right amount of times to work out per week? So where doing nothing is obviously nothing.
4 only.
Doing 2 a day, 7 days a week is probably too much. Mm-hmm. Going from 0 to what you'll see the most amount of progress.
So here's what I would suggest. I think if you are training 6 days a week, you are elite level, you are a compensated athlete, you are in a very, very particular situation under controlled variables. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't suggest 6 days a week for 99% of the people that
Okay.
I meet. You need to find out between 3, 4, and 5 days a week. And here are 3 criteria to go through on that. 3 days a week is where you start seeing benefits as a baseline of need to do for exercise. So if I'm strength training 3 times a week versus strength training 2 times a week, 3 times a week is where I see differences from a muscle standpoint, a capacity standpoint, nutrient distribution, adaptation, etc. 2 is equivalent to sitting on the couch at home. It's not enough stimulus
So
to
3 is a
yield a long-term adaptation.
3 you have.
3 is a minimum.
You might so
Should it be
nothing or
spread
3.
out? Like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday? Should it be?
Yeah, you should have at least 24 hours in between working on a certain thing. So
Okay.
48 hours is the window. So if I do legs on Monday at 5 p.m., then next time I should be doing legs would be Wednesday at 5 p.m.
Got it.
at the earliest. If you're still a little sore, you're still a little achy, then just wait and play it by ear. Like if it doesn't feel right, it doesn't feel right. But 3 times a week is what I would say is the minimum for getting everything done. That's why most people should be doing full body workouts,
3 days a week.
a little bit of cardio. Say you do
45 minutes, 3 days a week. You're infinitely better than doing nothing.
if everyone was working out like Rocky Balboa and running like a mile and a half, doing some push-ups, pull-ups, whatever, like everyone would be pretty good for the most part.
Yeah.
But three times a week is the minimum, and I think that's where you should start out. Can I accomplish 3 times a week? Because it's not about what you can do. Most people say, "Hey, I work out." So how many days a week do you work out in the gym weightlifting?
None.
Okay, how many days a week do you work out in the gym weightlifting?
At least 5.
Okay, last week how many days did you go?
I went Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, and yesterday. 5.
Okay, good. Week before that.
I took off the whole week.
Okay. So my point in that is there are always, like, if you ask most people, they'll go, yeah, I work out 4 days a week. And you're like, okay, what about last week?
They're like,
Well,
"Oh,
last week was
Monday and-"
different.
Yeah.
Thursday
So
was a
yeah,
weird
yeah,
day.
conveniently was the
and
most
Monday didn't
recent
work
week.
out.
I just happened to pick the one
Right.
week where you didn't do what you just told me you
So,
did. That's high level.
so A, start with what you can accomplish weekly
Okay.
and be successful at. So if you can do 3 days a week, amazing. If you can progress from there, 4 days a week I think is the perfect sweet spot for most people. You can do 4 days of resistance training. I would do like either a lower body, upper body split or a push-pull split or something like that where you're focusing on more full body perspectives. You shouldn't be doing like a bodybuilder split because for most people, you shouldn't be doing a bodybuilder split because what most people do
what
is
is
they go,
that? What does that mean?
that means isolating body parts. So
Like
what they'll do
chest
is they'll go,
body.
they'll do chest day, right?
All day?
So you'll have someone,
Just this.
yeah. So like, say, here's the example. Like we have a friend that wants to start getting into a program and ask me for a program, right?
Yes.
So he wants to get going
It's going to put you on the map.
5
too.
days, 5 days a week, right?
A professional. I think you could.
But he
Very
said,
short
but he asked, he goes, should I do a bodybuilder split? But we know the problem is if he does chest on Monday and he
He's
does back on Tuesday and he's sore as
Smoked.
shit, Wednesday's going to hit,
Smoked.
And he's not gonna
Thursday's
wanna
going to
do
be the
anything.
basketball games,
He can't do
Friday's
shit.
almost the weekend, and he's fucking done, and all he did was chest and back for 1 day a week. But that's most people,
Cooked.
right? So like, that's why most guys never do legs. Because you do your chest day and you do
what
back.
you're talking about.
You skip Wednesday, Thursday, Friday hits. You're like, oh, I'm going to the bar, so I'm going to do arms, obviously. And then they never do a little bit of everything. So they only got that one time a week of nothing, versus just like doing a little bit of everything.
For someone who is starting to work out, I know for like if I ever took time off when I went back, you can kind of like get some of your numbers back, so to speak, quicker. But then you're sore like days after.
Yeah.
Is it overtraining if someone who starts a new workout goes hard and they feel like they can't get out of bed the next day? How do you avoid
Yes.
that, or do you have to
Whatever your plan is for your first week, dial it back by 30%.
Really?
Just go in at
The
70%.
random person
So
that's listening
showing
right
up
now
is the
just
thing. It's going to the gym and just
Wow.
getting
routine, right? So
Wow.
that's like the hardest part when it comes to like working out. If it comes to working out, like generally the hardest part is getting in your car and just getting to the front door of the gym.
100%.
Once you're there, you're
Showing
like, well,
up
I'm
is
here now,
literally 80% of it.
You just have to get to that
episode,
front
and
door.
then I'll get in the car and go to
right?
the
So
gym.
that's usually yeah, exactly. So that's usually the game plan. It's like, okay, so what's that way to get to the front door? And what you need to do is you need to identify what are some of your triggers. So
Triggers to work out or to not work out?
to not work
That
out.
throw you
So
off.
so What
SVU episodes.
What are your most common excuses that you would in your head give yourself to be like, nah, I don't really have to work out today? You guys are more disciplined than most, but like, what's your reason?
I could do it. This is what I would say most people say, or if I ever do that, I'm too tired. I can do it tomorrow.
Yep.
I had a good last week. I'm in pretty good shape now. One day won't kill me. All that bullshit.
Which most of those are pretty true, right? But what I would say is for the person that skips the gym a certain amount, usually it's like, I'm too tired. I had a rough day at work.
Yeah.
I didn't really have a good nutritional day today, so I don't know if I have enough energy.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
you hear that a lot.
Get that
one of
fuck
the
out of here.
One things is that I hear, and it's like, no one goes to the gym because they're like, hey, I got so much stored up energy ready to do it, I have to go to the gym.
So what I would say is you should have that trigger so that whenever you say... That's good. So whenever you say...
I gotta get SVU canceled.
Yeah. So whenever you say, you know what, I'm too tired, you should immediately pick up your gym bag and go.
Yeah. So I think
Snapshot. You should. That's your trigger. Like, I should immediately just leave on that.
This is my own thing that definitely helps me out. Is I will pack and get everything ready for the gym the night before.
Wow.
I'll do it the night before. Everything is ready. So literally I wake up, my socks and shoes are at the end of my bed. I throw that shit on. I walk over to the bathroom, put in my contacts, come downstairs. My lunch is packed for the day. My gym bag is packed for the day. All I have to do is make breakfast, which is like very simple. And then literally, like you said, just get in the fucking car and go.
Yeah. Less excuses.
If I was going to go, say after work or something, I would put all my clothes and things in my car and have a shaker with powder in it, no water.
Yes.
So that it would be as much work to carry all that in at the end of the day and then have to like re-put the clothes. If I didn't go to the gym, it's like, fuck it, I'm already here. I might as well do it. And then I'll wash everything when I get back.
Correct.
You have to put those things
Whatever works for you, for sure.
All right. So wrapping the last question up. Has your wife ever been kidnapped before?
Yes. She was kidnapped last night.
Really?
She was missing for 11 seconds.
And how did you know she was kidnapped? Were her clothes...
Strewn about.
Her clothes are strewed about.
Her phone was on the front seat.
Screw you guys.
Her shoe was on the seat.
Dude.
It was mayhem.
Dude, we go from walking Holly to... We take a little trip, right? We're like, oh, let's go to the liquor store before we come home and watch like the fight. We go into the liquor store in town. We go into the car. I sit in the car. I'm like, what the fuck is this? A shoe? And Dave's like looks back. I think he was just like, Joe, what are you doing? They try to make it look like they got kidnapped. So in order to do that, like took their clothes off. Like, oh, it was a struggle.
Yeah.
So like I got my shirt. I look back. Joe has like her shirt off. She's got like a tank top thing on. I'm like, what the fuck are you guys doing? They're like, you guys didn't think we were kidnapped? Like, no!
Her sweater's on the front seat. Her shoes on the seat.
One shoe.
Her phone's on my seat. And I turn the corner and I'm like, where are they? And I look and I see Emily in the back like this. Behind the seats.
That's great.
Dude, unreal. So, we did this with you the first time you were on.
Yeah.
So I don't want to use any of those pictures, but our Uncle Mark segment, which we haven't used in a while. So if you're a new listener,
I'm gonna guess
Uncle
that's not a real
Mark
police
segments
officer back
are definitely not. And I don't think he's a real
He
scholar.
was. He was a feisty one.
We take a deep look into people's Instagrams, Facebooks, Twitters, personal photos sent by significant
So good.
others, and we will find out embarrassing photos.
This is my favorite Halloween costume of all time.
So we got this one, and you are dressed as what?
A Reese's Peanut Butter Cup.
And how did you come to... First of all, when is this?
This is
this at Rutgers? No.
junior year in high school.
That's outstanding. So you're, what are you, 16?
16, 17, something like that.
Yeah, you...
16, because if it's Halloween, it's before my birthday, so 16.
Yeah. Okay.
It's so good. But I had a friend of the family that had like a legit Reese's Peanut Butter Cup.
Because this is
costume.
pre-Amazon days where you could just order it for like $20.
Yeah. That's why everyone else is wearing Party City stuff, and I'm wearing an actual costume that was rented from a costume.
And
place.
was that hat a part of it, or was
Yes.
that like a radon hat?
No, that was
That's
part
outstanding. Incredible junior year Halloween party, and you keep in touch with any of these people in this photo?
Yeah, Eric.
This guy?
Whose wrestler just won state championships yesterday.
Nice.
Down in AC.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Yeah.
Well, where's he coach for?
Kinelon.
Now,
Yeah.
if the listeners want to get a hold of you or look you up or follow you, and because you do offer actually a lot of like free advice on the social media
Yeah.
platforms, where can they find you?
Instagram at OteyFit. I think that's at least what it is. OteyFitness.com. Just catch me on Facebook. I would say look up any of my stuff with Men's Health. If you're looking for a program or starter or better exercise options for joint issues or whatever, I've probably written some content on it at some point. So if you want the easy blast to it, go to OteyFitness.com, go under articles and education, and I have everything already pre-filtered down to what the article was and what source it's from. So it's just easy to grab and go with.
For the listeners too, use promo code How Much Do You Bench for $1 off of any programs or things.
You do actually have promo codes though with, I think, Owen, right?
Oh, and yeah, 10% off of any Owen orders with Otey10 at checkout.
OWYN.
Only what you need.
All right, thanks for tuning in. Sean and Chase have another one show with our good friend, lifting superstar, fitness expert, most importantly, Reverend who married me and my wife, Dave Otey. Thanks for joining us, brother.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, peace and love.
Later.